Hi guys, welcome to Book Time. My name is Julia. Today I thought I would do a quick video about the Readings Prize for New Australian Fiction Shortlist, which came out this week. So if you're not familiar with the Readings Prize, Readings is a bookstore founded in Melbourne, Australia, which is where I live. Anyway, it's a really great independent bookstore. It has a huge range across all genres of writing, as well as lots of music and film stuff as well. So they're a really great bookstore, and they have a few prizes each year. So if you follow my channel, you might have seen that I follow the Readings YA Prize and the Readings Children's Prize, as well as the Readings Prize for New Fiction. So the Readings Prize for New Australian Fiction is awarded to so it has to be released within the past year, and it has to be either an author's debut novel or their second novel or short story collection. And I think once you've won it, you can't win it again. So last year's list was excellent. I read them all. I'll link the video down below. It was just such a good collection of books, even though I hadn't heard of all of them, and it's the same this year. So I feel like the Readings Prize is really good at honouring books that we may not have come across before, or that aren't as necessarily hyped up. I mean, sometimes they are hyped up. I guess I feel like the Readings Prize shortlist never buys into the hype, and I always trust the taste of Readings because they're awesome. So I thought I'd just really quickly go over the shortlist. I actually haven't read any of them, but I do own, what have I done? Oh yeah. The only one that I owned already was The Glad Shout by Alice Robinson. So this is her second novel, and it's out through Affirm Press, which is a local publishing company, and I've heard really good things about this. I did read her first novel, Anchor Point, which I also own, and that was awesome. That was actually a 5-star read for me. And I've heard through reviews that this one's even better. And from what I understand, this follows a mother and her daughter in Melbourne after some sort of climate change event. And it's basically about the mother and daughter trying to, I think it's, about the mother trying to learn how to parent and be a person in this world, or in this city here, that where nothing is the same. It's been sort of brutally affected by this climate change event. I have actually heard from a lot of people who've read it that this could be tough reading, particularly after having a baby, and I have just had a baby, and I also have a small daughter, and this is about mothers and daughters. One of my good friends, who's actually my good friend Megan, and Alice Robinson is actually Megan's cousin, Megan said, yeah, it's kind of like Cormac McCarthy's The Road, except it's about a mother and a daughter, not a father and a son. Now, The Road is one of my favourite books, but I was like, well, that's pretty intense. So I was a bit scared to read it in the post-baby hormonal phase, but I feel like I'm really excited to read it now. That it's been shortlisted. So hopefully I'll get to this soon. I think when she said it was like The Road, I don't think it was exactly like The Road, but I think she meant it was like the same vibes about like a parent-child relationship and how you sort of seek to be in that type of world where society is crumbling around you. So that was the first one. The next one I just picked up from the library is Angela Meyer's A Superior Specter, and this came out through Ventura, I think. Yeah. So Angela Meyer is a very well-known person in the Australian and Melbourne literary scene. She had a blog for many years in which she reviewed books and became known as a very sort of prolific book reviewer. And she also works for Echo Publishing, which is a local press, and has published a lot of books through that press. So she's well regarded, and she had a collection of flash fiction come out a few years ago, which I actually haven't read, but this is her debut novel that came out last year, I think. And this has been really well received, and I've been meaning to get to it, so I'm very excited. And basically, it's about a guy called Jeff who is dying, and he flees to Scotland to recuperate, I guess. But when he's there, he uses and abuses a piece of technology which helps him inhabit the mind of someone from the past. And the person from the past whose mind he inhabits is a woman from the 1860s, a young woman. And she, I think, is having an affair with the local laird, or at least has feelings for him, and is working through her own like desires that are against social convention. But she's also dealing with this dark presence in her mind that I think is haunting her, which is the guy from the present, Jeff. So I think it sounds very outlandery, and I know that a lot of the reviews, like I think when it came out, everyone was like, oh, is this kind of like Outlander because it's about connection with people from the past and it's set in Scotland? But the reviews say, no, it's not like Outlander. This is much more haunting, much more creepy and unsettling. And whereas, as we all know, Outlander is basically a romance about a woman who goes back in time and has lots of sex with an attractive Scotsman, this is more about ideas of the self and how we form ideas of the self and subjectivity, desire, like displacement and things like that. So I think I'm really excited to read it, and I like Angela Meyer's writing, and I like her as a person. Not that I know her personally, but like the way she reviews and stuff is really great. So I'm excited to read that one as well. So the next one on the list is Alice Bishop's A Constant Hum, which is also out through text, I think. I'm just going to check that. Yep, so that came out through text, and this is a short story collection based around the Black Saturday bushfires from 2009. So if you're from Australia, you'll know about the bushfires. If you're not, there were some really, really bad bushfires that occurred 10 years ago in a range of, just outside of Melbourne. But some towns were completely burnt to the ground. Like this one town, Marysville, there was literally nothing left. Everything burnt to the ground. And there were a number of places in the hills where 173 people died, I think, but many, many more lost their homes. Like I would say Victoria is still recovering from it 10 years on for sure. And Alice Bishop, the author, I think she is from one of the places that was affected by the bushfires, or maybe like Christmas Hills or somewhere like that. And yeah, it's a collection of short stories that are about the bushfires, and I think it's a mixture of flash fiction and longer pieces, and that they're told from a whole host of different perspectives. And so far I have only heard incredibly wonderful things about this collection. I also follow her on Instagram, and she has a really nice Instagram. Like I don't know her as a person, but she has a nice presence. So I'm really looking forward to getting to that one. Another one on the list, which I hadn't heard of at all, is called The Flight of Birds by Joshua Lobb. This one's out through Sydney University Press, and from what I understand, it's also a collection of short stories, but they all focus on birds in some way and sort of encounters between birds and humans. And I think it's used to explore kind of the relationship between the human and the non-human, and it also has maybe climate change vibes as well. I'm hoping to read it, so I'll let you know soon. Again, I don't know much about this one, and even my library doesn't have a copy of it, so I'll either buy a copy or get the library to order one in. But I guess that means it hasn't, it's kind of out through a small press, so hopefully this prize gives it a bit of a wider distribution, and again, I will report back on it once I've read it and know more. The next one is Lexi Freeman, or Lexi Freeman, not sure how you pronounce her surname, sorry, Inappropriation, and this is out through Allen and Unwin. This is about a girl who attends a private girls' school in Sydney, and I think she feels like she doesn't fit in, and the two friends that she ends up making are these other outcasts who also happen to be radical feminists, and I think she kind of slots in with them, and she's really obsessed with Donna Haraway, and but then her friends go a bit more mainstream and she gets really distressed about it. And I think it's sort of like a coming of age, but she has these parents who are really open about their sex life and all this other stuff going on. And I think it's, about her trying to find her way, but I've heard it's really, really hilarious. So I'm excited to get to that one. And I have a feeling this was longlisted for the Stella Prize as well this year. So that bodes well. I'm looking forward to getting to this one. I think I've said that about all of them. Like, obviously I'm looking forward to getting to all of them, that's why I'm making this video. The last one I have to talk about is This Taste for Silence by Amanda OCallaghan. This is out through, sorry, just checking, UQP, University of Queensland Press, and I have seen this around. I don't own it, but hopefully I'll pick it up at some point soon. And this is a short story collection, and I think it might be a realist short story collection, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But it sounds like it's about, well, just reading some reviews earlier, there, you know, a whole lot of different perspectives, but about sort of little moments of, what's the word? Not upsetting moments, but like moments of disconnect that occur in life, whether it's between people or in a situation, or about the world, or between people in the world. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. To give you a bit more information, because I feel like that description was really vague, I'm just going to read a little bit out from its description online. I don't know much about this one. Maybe it'll help clarify what I'm trying to say. The balance of power in a marriage shifts with shocking consequences. An elderly woman recounts a chilling memory on the family farm. A taxi driver with a missing wife reveals unexpected skills. An inherited painting brings an eerie, troubling legacy. So, again, I think it's a mixture of smaller flash or microfiction and longer stories about life. So, I want to read them all. I'll let you know what I think. If you have read any of them, please let me know. Hopefully I'm going to read Superior Specter in the next few days, and then I'll start reviewing them on BookTube. All right, guys, we'll catch you soon. Bye.